Well, every year, as part of its annual meeting, S&M has a press conference, which is really the main press event of the year. Now, I think for those of us working in PR, having a press conference in and of itself is not always necessarily that you're going to guarantee coverage or get press to attend. But again, we have approximately 6,000 members of the molecular imaging and nuclear medicine community who attend. So our challenge this past summer when we had the press conference was, okay, how are we going to get press to attend, and how are we going to get them cover advances in the field? One of the most important things is I think that there is something that may work before you always have to be thinking about what is going on in the news, what are the press covering, and how can you give them factual information from credible sources that will really help make it a compelling story to tie in with what they are doing. We actually kind of took a roundabout way to get to the issue. There is something that is happening known as a medical isotope crisis that up until this time has been received coverage mainly in the trade publications that cover the industry. But approximately 4 weeks before the press conference, there were some shortages that were occurring that were affecting patients in the U.S. and internationally. So my main recommendation is taking what is a hook that applies to the organization that is going to allow you to tie in that interest. Now, at the time of the press conference, we also faced many of the organizations had budget cuts and were not able to travel this year to the press conference, mainly from our trade publications. But what we did is over working with a team at S&M for about 4 weeks leading up to the press conference, we really thought about what is the story that we have to tell and how is this going to be timely with what the press are covering. As a result, we had approximately 200 stories over a 3-week period of time in not only the trade publications, but major mass media outlets and wire services. For example, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the LA Times. And we managed to sustain this effort over a long period of time because we didn't see it just as a one-time event, but really as an ongoing issue that affected our organization. But when we really thought about what tools can we use to basically make it convenient for the media to cover the press conference, one of the innovative tools we looked at was Ustream, which is a free online service that allows you to broadcast in real time, also for the public to be able to ask questions via Facebook or chat or Twitter. So we use that functionality with cell phone and email, basically running it through just 3 people. We had over 50 press who attended in person at the press conference, 9 network television cameras, and over 70 reporters who actually attended virtually via Ustream. And then we also had a telephone conference line through which we had over 30 reporters. So there's definitely, it's a sustained interaction though. Obviously on the day of the press conference, we had the majority of our live broadcasts and stories that were being published that day and the following day in trade outlets, in mainstream media, on TV, etc., internationally, radio interviews. And the momentum has definitely continued through building relationships with the reporters, keeping them informed of what's going on with this issue, and again, bringing them credible sources in a very timely manner. I think that makes a difference. Next time they're working on a story, to come back to your organization and say, here's something we're working on. Can you give us information or help us get in touch with the right people? And so it's become an interesting issue through which to communicate other scientific messages about what our members do as a society.